Hello, and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Ridley, and this is my kitchen, how I found it. We are going to be continuing on our trip through Spain today with our most modern recipe of our set so far. So this one is going to be called Basque Burnt Cheesecake from Basque Country. The locals don't call it that, they actually call it Tarta de Queso de la Viña. And this is actually made either around 1988 or 1990 by a man named Santiago Rivera, and specifically at his restaurant called La Viña in San Sebastián, Spain. So this is from Basque Country, and it follows a lot of the culinary traditions of that area, which include simplicity and also just real delicious, easy meals, and also an openness about cuisine. So the actual chef that created this for his restaurant released the recipe, which is why we know exactly what's in it and how to make it. So the recipe itself is similar to a standard cheesecake, except that it's cooked at a higher temperature, and this results in a caramelized top and a really creamy, custardy center. So it's not quite as soft, not quite as delicate, and has a little bit more of that caramely tone to it. Ingredient-wise, really simple. It's just gonna be some cream, a little bit of sugar, a tiny bit of flour, some eggs, and some cream cheese. You can flavor it however you'd like from there. I'm using just a little bit of vanilla extract, so this is gonna be a plain vanilla cheesecake, but super simple ingredient-wise. And then as far as the prep goes, we're gonna just mix these together, whip up the cream cheese here. We're going to make a little bit of a paste with the flour and the cream, mix everything together, and then just put it in the oven and cook it for about 45 minutes to an hour. Interesting thing about this recipe is you do not go based off of temperature to test the finished cheesecake, you go off of the color of the top. So we're gonna do the best we can, and as a quick note, because this is a more modern recipe, it was actually designed with power tools or with a power mixer in mind. So all the recipes that I found specifically used an electric stand mixer or a hand mixer. Now I'm gonna use that for this one. I have a stand mixer here. I've been avoiding that for most of these recipes because a lot of people don't have stand mixers. But you can use a handheld mixer, and if you do wanna do this one by hand, I would just say make sure you get the cream cheese thoroughly to room temperature, because the first step is to whisk this. And if you've ever tried to whisk cold cream cheese, it's nearly impossible. But let me go ahead and do some quick rearranging right here, and then we'll get in some mixing. Pour it into our prepared springform pan here, which is an 8.5-inch springform pan. And they just said to put 2 pieces of parchment paper inside and crumple it against the edges. So I didn't really do anything special here, just shoved it in. We're gonna wanna take our cream cheese, which for this one is 1.5 pounds, which is 3 bricks of a standard size cream cheese. I have left this one out to try and get it to room temperature. It's pretty dense, so it did hold on to its temperature. It's a little cool, but it's definitely not at fridge temp anymore. And now for this one, we're just going to put it on a medium speed for a few minutes to get it whipped up. A beautiful timing there. So we have got the cream cheese in here, and texture-wise, you're not really looking for it to be super whipped. You just want to make sure that it's kind of thoroughly combined and a little fluffy. From here, we're going to add the sugar in and then just get it combined. So this is gonna be on a lower speed, and we're gonna go for just a few seconds, so about 10 seconds on this one. And a little longer than 10 it's looking, but there we go. Decently incorporated inside here. And then now I am going to use our bowl from earlier that I had the cream cheese in. You can use another bowl for this one if you'd like, but I figure this will save me on a little bit of washing up, and I can reuse a little bit or get a little bit more of this cream cheese out. So I'm gonna add the flour in. Let me get this out for now. Stay. All right, and then we're going to add a little bit of cream, and we're gonna mix these two together. And so what this does is it's going to allow you to make a paste out of the flour and prevent any of it from sticking together and making clumps. So we're doing just a little bit. If you put all of the cream in all at once, some of the flour is going to stick together in there and you're going to end up with some lumps at the end. Similarly, if you've ever used matcha tea or if you make hot chocolate at home from cocoa powder, you can do this same trick to prevent any clumping up. A little bit of liquid will allow you to make a really nice mixed paste of everything, and then when you pour that into the larger volume, it allows everything to incorporate very smoothly. So we've got a little bit in here. We're going to get the paste together, then we'll put the rest of the milk or the cream in, get it thoroughly mixed up, and in this case we're using heavy whipping cream, but we're not trying to build a whipped cream. So you don't want to whip super heavy, you don't want to whip super hard. Hand whisking this is absolutely reasonable. So we've got that paste together, going to add some more of the cream, do a mix, finish the rest of it, do a mix, and then it's all going into here with our eggs, and that's pretty much everything needed for this recipe. Beautiful. And I am able to pick up some of this extra cream cheese here so that we're not losing any of that to the aether. All right, beautiful. There we go. Might as well get the vanilla in there at the same time. Now, as I was saying, you don't want to build structure to this, so it should be something that you can still just pour right into your mixer. Probably helpful if I put it in front of y'all. Beautiful. Then we're going to add our eggs in. Keep the temp or speed a little bit lower for this. And then I am going to grab a little spatula, turn this off for a quick second, and just scrape around the sides to make sure that everything from the edges is getting thoroughly incorporated into our blend. And again on this one, we're not trying to whip a ton of air into the recipe. We're not trying to make a fluffy mousse out of this. We're just trying to thoroughly incorporate all of the ingredients and make a really nice dense custard. Okay, so that is all of our mixing. You can now get this off of here. Let me do some final little scrapes of these bits here. Now, because I'm seeing a little bit of some maybe tiny lumps left in the batter here, I'm not expecting this to be perfectly smooth. You could probably do a little bit more work on getting things to fully room temperature, or even if you have a hand mixer, it gives you a little bit more control over where you're actually getting your mixing done. But I do think that there's got a really good mix to this. It's looking fairly smooth, so I think it'll still be delicious. Let's get that down there. And then all of this goes into our prepared spring form. Okay. There's a couple of bits in here that are probably not as broken down as I would like. I know that all of the recipes were very specific. You don't want to over whip this, you don't want to overbeat it, so I may have been a little too careful on that side. But I still think the flavor of this should be super, super tasty. The texture might not be as dreamy, creamy as they would have dreamt of, But we can always try it again in a later date, and the important thing is, does it taste super tasty? All right, so once this is in here, we just get to tap this down, try and get rid of any of the air bubbles that are actually in there. If you see any coming up to the surface that don't pop, you can give them a little pop with a toothpick or something like that. But now that that's in there, I have already preheated our oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, or about, I think that's 200 degrees Celsius, going into the center rack, and it'll just be in there for about an hour. I'll let you know once I pull it out exactly how long it was in there for, but we'll see you in a tick. All right, it's been going for about 50 minutes right now, and it looks like it has definitely got this delicious, dark, caramely color to the top of it. So I think that's the color we're looking for. Now, at this point, it should be done cooking. We're gonna let it sit for about 2 hours at room temperature, and then throw it in the fridge for a little bit longer to set. But the remaining part of this is just to let it come down and cool, and then we're gonna be back to taste it, but I'm very, very excited. So this has been chilling now for total, I would say, maybe 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. It has definitely deflated a little bit in the center, but it's still got a really nice kind of browning to it. So with this one, it's a springform pan. So we're going to pop this off. Slide that off. And then in theory, we lift it right off of the pan. And we have ourselves a cheesecake. Oh, interesting. All right. So I was worried that it was going to stick really hard to the edges. There were a couple of spaces where it did, but in general, it came out pretty well. And then as far as serving it goes, you can serve it just like this, and you just slice it like a cake, and you've got yourself cheesecake. So, perfect. So it does have a little bit of firmness to it. I think will hold its shape pretty well. I think it has completely set. Yeah. All right. So we've got ourselves a cute little slice of cheesecake. I'm gonna plate another one up for Bruce, and then we're gonna give it a taste. I'm really excited for this. I've definitely never done a crustless cheesecake before, and it came off the bottom and looks beautiful. So let's see how it is. Okay, so we've got our cheesecakes here. Now, I definitely can see this kind of caramelized top to it is very different from what I've seen in a standard cheesecake.
And there's no crust on the bottom.
Nope, or on the sides.
Or anywhere else.
I didn't involve the crust. But I will say that if you look in the sides, you might see it on yours. I've got a couple of little specks. So those were the little bits of cream cheese that I don't think were fully incorporated by whipping.
I see, yeah.
Really small.
Little white spots.
So I definitely think that I maybe was a little too careful on that stage of things. And if I were to do this again, I would probably just ensure that you, like I said, you didn't want to over whip it, but I definitely would have made sure it was thoroughly smooth. But still should taste tasty.
Here we go. I love cheesecake, so.
No pressure.
That's really interesting. The burntness.
It's significantly different enough from a normal cheesecake.
It is. It tastes... I don't want to say it tastes burnt, because it doesn't taste burnt in a bad way.
But a little bit of caramel.
It's just... It's like the parts of things that are burnt that are good before it gets too bad.
The Maillard reaction.
Sure. It's delicious. It's like
it adds just the right amount of almost bitterness, but not.
Yeah. It's good. It's good flavor. It's great.
It's good people.
Great. It's good people.
If I really focus, I can tell the little textural bits that I was expecting. But had I not told myself in advance, I don't know if I would have known.
Textural bits? What do you mean?
They didn't fully get whipped in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Even though you can see them, it doesn't feel like there's bits of another thing floating around inside the cheesecake. If you really focus, you might run into a pocket of like, oh, that was cream cheese.
Maybe my palate's not sophisticated enough.
I don't know if this is on that sophistication scale. I don't think they rate for that.
Well, all I can say is this is delicious, simple, and definitely
Absolutely.
worth it.
Super, super delicious. And if you would like to try a really quick cheesecake recipe, this is one I would go for. It doesn't require the extra crust element. It doesn't require a water bath. It's simple and tasty.
Well, the burnt part on the top, is like the crust, except it doesn't taste. It's not crunchy.
Yeah. Not structurally the same, but
It's not structurally the same, but like I think it fulfills the same kind of role that does. Like a little separation between that and like the filling that is a cheesecake.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, I think we have one stop left in Spain.
One more.
And this is delicious. It's our first dessert on the trek.
Yep, so far.
But very, very tasty. Definitely going in my personal little book of things to make again. Speaking of, we did Boeuf Bourguignon again because it was so good. But I will see you guys next time with Last Stop in Spain, and then we are going to go from there to
Another place.
India, I think.
Yeah.
I think India.
Okay.
All right. So we'll see you then, and thank you for coming by.